how to show a house, a deal, owner occupied to a cash buyer. Hey gang, this is Mike with MrNoFlip.com, and many of you have reached out to me wanting to wholesale real estate, and you ask me, hey Mike, how do I show a house after I put it under contract while the owner lives in the property to my end buyer, to my end cash buyer? Well, let me shoot straight with you. There's two ways to do this. Simplify it. You could, do the business underneath the table, or you could do the business out in the front. And the way I like to do business is to do business out in the front. What that means is I do full disclosure. I have nothing to hide. So I tell the seller straight up, point blank, what's going to happen. So for example, I'm not a wholesaler, but I teach my students to do wholesaling. I've done a couple of wholesaling in my life, but I'm a buy and hold guy. So when I talk to a seller, I tell them my cash offer, and I tell them that I am going to buy it and I'm going to turn it into a rental property. And if they say, hey, well, that offer is too low, then what I do is I tell them that, hey, I have other options where I could take it to my network of investors, and some of them may buy it at a higher price, but it's not going to be me. So before I can do that, I'm going to put it under contract and then sell my position to one of the investors. And I tell them that up front if they're okay with that, because if they're not okay with that, I don't want to tell them that I'm the one that's closing the deal and then at the end of the day, it's not me. So I shoot straight with the sellers. I use what's called a terminator offer letter. When I give an offer, I have actually 4 or 5 different offers in there, from cash to owner financing, or what I call subject to deals. And if my cash offer doesn't fit the seller's shoes, he or she wants a little bit more. Let's say I've offered them 60 cents on a dollar minus repairs, and the seller wants 80 cents on a dollar. Okay, and assume that the house doesn't need any repairs, and I'll tell them, look, I can, or if it does need repairs, it doesn't need repairs, doesn't matter. If it's not the numbers that I'm shooting for a cash offer, and they want more than that, then instead of me just tossing the lead in the trash can, instead of me saying, no, I'm sorry, sir, I can't work with you because I invested a lot of time and energy in marketing, resources, qualifying the sellers through the Ninja phone script. If you don't have my script, go download it right now at myrealestatedojo.com. We're having a big discount. But coming to the story, I do my moves up front, full disclosure to the seller. I know there are investors out there. There's a lot of them that don't tell the seller what's going to be happening. Okay, they do business underneath the table. I'm not trying to judge anyone if that's the way you do business. But for me, I don't like to do business like that. So when I meet a seller, I give them my offers and I said, look, this deal at this numbers for the cash, I will close myself. Okay? And if he or she doesn't accept that offer and they want to hire, I say, look, I do work with a network of other investors. I can put your house on a contract for 80% off or 75% off or whatever the number they're looking for, and see if any of my investors are willing to buy my contract or my positioning to buy your home. Are you okay with that? And if they're not okay with that, then I go with my merry way because I'm an expert in generating leads. So if you're not an expert in generating leads, then you should go to my website right now at MrNoFlip.com and download my 39 marketing boot camps where I teach you how to generate leads for free or almost for free in your backyard. And right now it's just $19, myrealestatedojo.com. So if you become an expert on generating leads, then you don't have to beg a seller or try to be underneath the table or what I call sometimes shady or not full disclosure, because you just don't give a rat's ass. You're just going to be honest with them. If they're not going to accept you for who you are, that's fine. There's other people or sellers that are motivated that are going to be out there as long as I'm doing my marketing. Now, if I'm not doing my marketing, then every seller that comes in, I'm begging them to do a deal. And I could understand why some investors, well, a lot of investors are not frank. They're not open with the seller. Okay. And that's why they have this question: how do I show a house owner occupied to a cash buyer? The way I do it is upfront, before I put it under contract, I'm going to let them know, hey, this is my offer. If this doesn't work for them, they want a little bit more money. And if it's like 20% uh, versus 60%, well, I can buy 80. I'm sorry, if it's 80% versus 60%, well, I can buy that for cash. But I know some people that may buy it for cash because they have different exit strategies, they have different financial budgets and restrictions, and some people just like to lose money because they make so much money, right? And I know people like that, and so in that sense, I shoot the straight with the seller, let them know, hey, dude, I'll put her under contract. I'm gonna have another investor close on that. Are you okay with that? If he or she says yes, then once I put it on the contract, I'll let them know that I'm going to bring these cash buyers to their home. Usually, I like to have a lockbox or get a key, but if that's not going to happen, and then I'll just knock on the door. I'll let them know beforehand we're coming over, and we go that way. Now, when my buyers get there, I try to separate the buyers from the sellers. I try to, let the seller know when my buyer gets there, I need to talk to him, etc. So, I don't allow them just to mingle and commingle. I don't, allow the Mike and cash buyer to show up without me being there and having the seller do my job, which is show the property. So I don't do any of that stuff, okay? But on the other hand, I'm frank with the seller, letting know that, look, this 60% is where I'm at, or the owner financing, but you say you don't want it, you want higher, and I may have a better solution for your hire to get it. Are you okay with that? He or she says yes. Then okay, then this is the procedure. I'm gonna have cash buyers come to your home, and are you okay with that? Which they're gonna say yes because they want to sell their home. If they say no, no problem. I go with them on merry way. I put the seller in my Excel sheet and I follow up, right? If you don't have a database, then we provide you the database in the Ninja phone script. Right now, you can get it for a few bucks versus, the normal price. And at my real estate dojo, you should definitely get my Ninja phone script because I have a 1 hour of full live cold calling, right, with sellers on the phone. We have 30 to 35 minutes of video training on how to talk to sellers, how to filter them, what kind of questions to ask. Plus, we have the PDF file, which is a 3 or 4 page phone script that you actually questions you ask the seller to determine how to give them an offer, how to structure the offer, etc. All this stuff you can find out in my real estate dojo. But to simplify the question one more time is how do you show a house or a deal when the owner is occupying to a cash buyer? Easy. I tell them up front. If they're okay with it, I give them the contract. Then I set up an appointment. Usually I like to get the lockbox or have the key. And if those two doesn't work, I message the seller, say we're coming at this time. And then when the cash buyer shows up, I'm there before the cash buyer. I walk, I give the tour of the house. I may ask the seller to step outside, or if he can go to Starbucks, or sometimes they don't want to, they want to stay inside the house, which is not a big deal. But we don't talk about the numbers with the buyer. I just say, look, hey man, just keep it simple. Let's look through here, do your numbers, do your repairs, the cost, look at the place, and then we'll talk at Starbucks, or we'll talk outside, okay? And that's it. It's very simple. Now, if you're trying to do business underneath the table, then it gets all tricky, and you have to make up all these lies and excuses. And I'm like, why should anyone want to deal with that kind of BS? But there's a lot of mentors out there that they teach it that way, where I feel like just honesty is the best policy, man. If they don't want it, fuck it. I mean, move on, right? Put them in your Excel sheet and follow up. Now, you may lose some deals this way because you're doing business in the open. You're letting the seller know, look, it's not me that's closing, someone else that's closing. But you have to be the person that's going to determine what type of business you want to do. So it can't be me determining for you, nor am I trying to determine for you. I am just explaining how I do business, and I've seen how other people do the business. I'm not saying my way is better or worse. I'm not saying their way is better or worse. I'm just classifying it and let you determine how you want to do your business. The way I do my business is full disclosure, just like my profit sharing. If you go onto my profit sharing, my real estate dojo, you get to see that I disclose everything to you, all the fees, all the tools you need, etc. Because I don't want to deal with the headaches, and if the people don't want to buy it, no problem. It's not for everyone. Okay, there are people that are going to buy it, and there's people that are not going to buy it, and it's okay with me. So I'm not going to try to pull the wool over my seller's eye, nor am I going to pull the wool over my student's eye. That's just not how I do business. So this is what I do. Thanks for asking the questions that you have did. If you guys have any questions about anything, leave a comment below. This is why I do this channel for you. I do it for you guys because we live in a world of abundance, right? And you can be your dreams by just closing your eyes, imagining what you want, and getting to it and hustling, dude. In America, this is the land of opportunity. Hundreds and millions of people would love to be here. Mean you're here. No excuses, guys. Hustle and bustle. Click the like button. Share this message. Let me know your thoughts below. Peace.